Chosen one. When your adversaries realized they could not reach your success, they attempted to tarnish your name. This is how it always starts, not with bravery, but with hushed voices. Someone decided your tranquility was too intimidating, your serenity too costly. So, they dispatched an investigator to discover your true character. They believed they would finally uncover something. However, what they never anticipated was that the reality would shame them. Because each person who knew you did not fuel their gossip, they smothered it. The instant the questioning began, the whispers perished. This is the outcome when falsehoods crash against the evidence of integrity. When you live correctly, even probes turn into endorsements. The very individuals they attempted to use against you wound up supporting you. The very tales they distorted immediately corrected themselves. Facts do not yield to envy, and your truth did not waver under the glare. They thought they would catch you faltering, but they only caught a reflection of themselves. You can almost sense their irritation now, can you not? The sound of letdown from individuals who hoped for your collapse and received your elevation instead. Chosen one, take armament. If this communication already feels like it is narrating your experience, press the like button and subscribe immediately. That is your method of returning energy to this mission, of informing the cosmos. You stand firm with those who ascend with purity in a world that adores filth. Now let us delve further, because what transpired here was not accidental. It was the season of revelation. They thought your quiet meant frailty, but silence is the universe's method of building anticipation before the disclosure. You have been moving through spaces lately where people's grins do not align with their gaze. They discuss you with that tone, partly inquisitive, partly intimidated. You can sense when you exit a room that dialogues start the second you depart. That is because your essence remains. You leave traces of your power without uttering a syllable. And then when that investigator, that alleged professional, appeared asking questions, your standing did the communicating. They anticipated turmoil and discovered poise. They anticipated theatrics and encountered self-control. One colleague stated, "They always remained composed under stress." A friend included, "If anything, they've assisted more individuals than they would ever confess." Envision the quiet in the room when the report returned clear. It was not merely clear, it was radiant. They did not simply find no mud, they discovered treasure. This is where jealousy ignites, because those who resent you desired evidence that you are counterfeit. Instead, they received verification that you are more genuine than they ever were. Their envy is not merely emotional anymore. It is tangible. You can observe it in how they evade your look, how they become silent when your name arises. You have become their inconvenient reality, the living reminder that goodness still prevails and genuineness still endures the slander. You must comprehend these individuals do not despise you for what you did. They despise you for what you did not do. You did not shatter. You did not supply them with chaos. You did not surrender your peace to nourish their rumor factory. And when the truth emerged, it did not merely clear your name, it certified your legacy. They thought they were unmasking you. The cosmos unmasked them. It is astounding how foreseeable betrayal becomes when you start existing on a superior tier. The identical cycles recur, the defamation effort, the mute spectators, the pretended worry. But what is distinct now is you have viewed this film previously. You already understand the conclusion. The truth inevitably returns bearing your likeness. The people who attempted to scrutinize you simply ended up becoming your unpaid advocates. And let us not forget, this is not novel. Even in history, when individuals tried to ruin icons, they unintentionally rendered them eternal. Consider it. They ridiculed pioneers, and now those names reside in history texts. They questioned those who moved with quiet intent, and now they recite their statements like doctrine. You, chosen one, are in that identical lineage of misconstrued magnificence. You are not being probed. You are being chronicled. So here is the genuine disclosure. They did not comprehend the universe was also taking notes. Every untruth they uttered transformed into evidence of your forbearance. Every uncertainty they disseminated became information in your support. You were not being examined. You were being documented for your forthcoming triumph. The cosmos witnessed the shame, the gossip, the fake stories, and declared, "Ideal." Now let us reverse it. Because now your name does not merely exist in discussions, it exists in esteem. Individuals are starting to comprehend the most serene person in the room was the most formidable all along. And for those who sent the investigator, let us simply state they excavated their own pit thinking it was yours. They did not merely fail to annihilate you, they ended up rendering you eternal. This is your exoneration season, chosen one. Every murmur they utilized to injure you has transformed into confirmation of your reality. You did not have to combat, clarify, or justify yourself. Your standing accomplished it for you. And now the identical people who tried to enter your name cannot cease speaking it. And listen, chosen one, yes you, the one whose name they attempted to distort but could not reach. Are you prepared to witness how their little inquiry backfired so flawlessly it became your applause? Because what is arriving next will make you realize the cosmos was protecting your name the entire time. Leave 7 through 77 in the comments if you are ready to observe how every rumor transformed into your acknowledgement. Do not scroll yet. Remain until the conclusion because this narrative is not solely about endurance. It is about ascent. If you have ever been lied about, doubted, or secretly envied, you are about to witness how all of that operated in your favor. So lean in, chosen one. This next segment is where the truth finally resonates more powerfully than their gossip. Number 1. They went searching for mood and discovered treasure instead. You cannot reveal someone who has nothing to conceal. You can only reveal your fixation with witnessing their fall. They believed they were about to discover a disgrace. They thought your name was a ticking bomb waiting to detonate once someone excavated deeply enough. So they sharpened their tools and commenced the hunt. But the only detonation that occurred was their own humiliation when the soil they sought transformed into confirmation of your purity. Because their reality is there was never any soil to start with, just foundations. Deep, firm, unshakable foundations constructed on quiet discipline and character they could never imitate. They sent an investigator to locate your imperfections, and he returned with proof of your excellence. Let us be truthful, they were not inquisitive about you. They were yearning for a downfall. They desired your life to validate their jealousy. They whispered, "Nobody is that clean," hoping someone would finally say, "Yes, I observed them slip once." But nobody did. Not because individuals were frightened to talk, but because your life did not permit space for lies. You did not fake integrity for the audience. You practiced it when nobody was observing. That is why they could not ruin you. They were attempting to shatter a mirror that only reflected their own unattractiveness. You must comprehend, chosen one, the people who tried to expose you were never pursuing truth. They were pursuing control. Because the instant your name started shining more brightly, their insecurities started perspiring. You became the narrative. They could not cease stalking. They did not want to comprehend you. They wanted to undo you. But how do you annihilate someone who constructed their reputation on reality instead of performance? How do you assault a person whose worst fault is that they remained silent instead of trivial? They arrived expecting chaos and discovered calm. They arrived looking for shame and discovered strength. That is why it stung. Because your authenticity disarmed their rumors. Every inquiry they made about you came back with the identical response. Solid, grounded, respected. The investigator could not manufacture scandal where truth was already standing guard. Imagine that moment when they finally heard, "Actually, they have always been consistent, kind, focused, professional, never created drama." The silence on the other end of that report must have been overwhelming. Their scheme did not merely fail, it reversed. They handed you a verification check, and you transformed it into a verification benediction. They wanted to reveal a fraud and instead unveiled their own projection. Because chosen one, envious individuals never despise you for your wrongs. They despise you for your rights. They despise that you did not crumble when life tried to humiliate you. They despise that you do not panic when they start murmuring. They despise that your peace is louder than their gossip. And the most difficult thing for them to accept is that your name carries weight. Not because you compelled people to like you, but because you left imprints of integrity everywhere you traveled. The truth wounds, does it not? They thought you were pretending, but while they were occupied performing for notice, you were constructing credibility without even striving. You became proof that clean living and consistency are powerful actions in a world dependent on chaos. You do not have skeletons, you have principles, and that is why they cannot tolerate you. You are the living contradiction to everything they wished was true about you. They told everyone you were fake, but genuine people keep verifying you are the truth. And perhaps you have questioned, why me? Why can they not simply leave me alone? Because individuals who lose control of their own narrative will always attempt to rewrite yours. You remind them of what they could have been if they did not compromise their values. You remind them that success without character is empty, and your radiance reveals their void. So they excavate, they question, they probe, they gossip. But all that exertion just polishes your name even brighter. That is what makes this so exquisite. Every endeavor to bury you became a gardening session for your reputation. They planted rumors, but you cultivated proof. They watered lies, but you blossomed with evidence. They did not merely fail to ruin you. They unintentionally promoted your genuineness. And now the identical people who called you too good to be true are realizing you were just too true to be shattered. Here is the stark fact. Individuals cannot annihilate what they cannot define. They have never understood your calm because they mistake quiet for weakness. They have never understood your boundaries because they mistake distance for fault. But you are not hiding. You are recovering. You are not silent because you are scared. You are silent because you already triumphed. They wanted to witness you unravel, but you are the one holding the string. You walked through their snare without even stepping on it. Let us be truthful. This entire inquiry was never about facts. It was about fantasy. They desired your image to match the falsehoods in their minds. But the investigator returned with information, not drama. And that shattered them, because now they cannot even pretend they were correct. You are living proof that the cosmos safeguards those who exist in truth. And truth does not argue, it discloses. Remember this. Your reputation did not require defending. It merely required time. The longer they spoke, the more their words revealed them, not you. Every fabricated story they spun became a thread that unraveled their own credibility. You stood motionless while they demolished their own peace, attempting to pursue yours. That is poetic justice. So here is the genuine victory. While they were waiting for your name to crumble, it ascended. You are being referenced in rooms for all the correct reasons. While their names fade behind closed doors, they desired a disgrace. They received a standing ovation. They were praying for soil, and all they discovered was treasure. And you, chosen one, remember this moment. Never feel the need to defend your purity to people addicted to confusion. The truth does not panic under pressure. It stands taller. You are living proof that no quantity of investigation can erase integrity that has been constructed over years of quiet loyalty and consistency. They attempted to place your name on trial, and it ended up in headlines of admiration. They wanted to damage your reputation. Instead, they made it irrefutable. They wanted to feed on your downfall. Instead, they choked on your ascent. That is the power of clean living. It converts gossip into gospel, lies into lessons, and enemies into unpaid promoters of your greatness. So permit them to keep talking, because every time they speak your name, they make it gleam brighter. You do not require vengeance. You are the vengeance. Their disappointment is your justice. Their obsession is your trophy. You do not have to lift a finger. The cosmos already performed the cleanup, and that is the part that burns them most. You did not merely pass their examination, you were never even taking it. Number 2, the community testified while their lies collapsed. When the truth walks the identical streets Ace lies, only one leaves imprints that endure. They thought the community would turn against you. They were convinced their murmurs would become your headlines. But when the air cleared and the truth started moving, it possessed a louder voice than all their secrets combined. Because here is the reality. When you have lived correctly, when you have treated individuals well, when you have moved with quiet grace instead of hidden chaos, your reputation constructs its own defense mechanism. You do not have to implore anyone to speak up for you. The community accomplishes it naturally, and that is exactly what burned them the most. Envision this. They were sitting in a circle, confident that their rumor had propagated. They envisioned individuals rolling their eyes at your name, repeating the lies they planted. But when a genuine investigator came inquiring, someone neutral, someone seeking facts, note motions, the truth struck them like a frigid slap, because every person he conversed with stated the identical thing. No, they are solid. Never create drama. Always manage things the proper way. Every sentence was a nail in the coffin of their scheme. Their lies perished before they even reached court. Reputation is constructed in murmurs, but validated in echoes. You did not need to clear your name. Your character already accomplished it. The cosmos does not permit false energy to dominate for long. It reverses it directly back. The community they thought would drag your name through mud ended up cleansing it like polished glass. They underestimated how many individuals had quietly witnessed your goodness, your patience, your consistency, because genuine individuals do not always converse, but when truth is on trial, they testify. Let us be truthful. Your enemies relied on the crowd. They presumed numbers could overpower truth. They presumed the echo of gossip would drown out reality. But the world has transformed. Chosen one, individuals are weary of lies. They can sense when something does not match the energy they have witnessed with their own eyes. They have watched you appear, remain calm, perform the work, and carry your dignity like armor. So when lies attempted to take your position, your presence stood taller. You do not need to defend your name when your work communicates every day. That is the power of walking correctly when nobody is observing. Those who attempted to soil your reputation forgot that you have constructed quiet allies without even realizing it. Individuals who respect how you move, who recall the way you manage situations they could not, who admired your self-control when others would have snapped. That is what rescued you. You did not campaign for validation. Your integrity performed the campaigning independently. Envision this again. One of your enemies is awaiting updates. They are refreshing their phone, expecting to hear that the investigator discovered something juicy. But instead, every person interviewed provides you radiant reviews. Envision their faces when they hear, "Actually, they are one of the most serene people I have ever encountered. Always professional, always authentic." You could almost observe their confidence deflate like a punctured balloon because their fantasy required believers. But all they obtained were witnesses for your truth. They cannot stand it. They cannot handle the idea that the identical community they contaminated with gossip now praises your name. That is justice in its purest form. When the noise of deception gets drowned out by the clarity of truth, you cannot manipulate a narrative that is already sealed by genuine experience. Individuals did not merely recall your face, they recalled your energy, the way you remained kind, the way you kept your composure when others lost theirs. That is what constructed your defense long before anyone attempted to assault you. And here is the part they will never confess. Deep down, they knew this would occur. They knew that if anyone actually verified, your record would return spotless. But envy does not care about truth. It feeds on fantasy. They required a story that made them feel powerful again. They needed to believe that tearing you down would make them pertinent. But gossip is a feeble weapon. It injures the wielder faster than the target. The identical mouths that curse you will one day choke on your name when truth returns for its crown. And it returned. Chosen one, the individuals they attempted to recruit did not yield. The ones who knew you from employment, from your community, from years of shared spaces, they spoke facts. They did not have to exaggerate. They simply told the truth. And that truth struck harder than any defense you could have constructed. Perhaps you are wondering, why does it still ache though? Why do I still feel betrayed? Because even though the truth won, the betrayal still cuts profoundly. But comprehend this, the cosmos does not permit false accusations to end quietly. It makes them backfire spectacularly. That is why you are observing individuals suddenly acting distant, avoiding eye contact, modifying their tone. They are embarrassed because the identical story they once trusted has collapsed. And the person they doubted, still standing, still calm, still respected. Envision walking through the identical streets they once utilized to whisper about you, and now those murmurs transform into nods of respect. Individuals you never thought noticed you suddenly state, "Hello, I heard favorable things about you." That is not coincidence. That is reputation echoing through walls that were meant to silence it. Truth does not require a megaphone. It journeys quietly and lands loudly. And it is landing now, one discussion at a time, proving that your consistency was the genuine headline all along. This is the beauty of clean living. It does not demand attention, but when attention arrives, it glows. You have become a living contradiction to their lies. The identical streets they thought would destroy you are now your audience. The identical mouths that mocked you now mimic your conduct. That is poetic justice in motion. And it is amusing, is it not? They thought they could rewrite your image, but your reality refused to modify the script. That is what integrity accomplishes. It maintains your truth stable while their lies collapse from exhaustion. Every endeavor to frame you only made the contrast sharper. Your calm versus their chaos, your truth versus their fiction. your dignity versus their desperation. The louder they lie, the stronger your silence communicates. That is why they are furious now. Because regardless of what story they tell, it gets overshadowed by proof of who you genuinely are. They cannot rewrite what too many individuals have already witnessed. The community did not merely fail to confirm their lies, they reversed the narrative entirely. Your name now circulates as a lesson in endurance, not a target of gossip. And that chosen one is your ultimate triumph. You did not argue, you did not expose them. You permitted the truth to manage the spotlight, and it performed flawlessly. Every lie now points back to them. Every rumor now reveals the envy that initiated it. You did not require revenge. You merely required patience. When you walk with truth, the cosmos becomes your public relations team. That is what occurred here. You did not pursue rumors. You substituted them with outcomes. You did not beg to be understood. You simply kept moving and the world caught up. Now the identical streets that once doubted you are vocalizing your name, and the individuals who started it all, they are hiding in the shadows of their own noise. So stand tall, chosen one. Let them remain angry. Let them replay their own embarrassment in silence, because the community has already spoken, and they spoke the language of truth. Your story is not merely vindicated, it is legendary. Now the investigator may have asked questions, but the world answered for you. And what they stated was irrefutable. You were never the problem. You were the proof. Number 3, even the ones who did not like you spoke the truth. Regardless, when even your quiet critics cannot locate mud, you have already won the loudest war. They were certain silence would finally turn against you. They thought, let us ask the quiet ones, the ones who barely know them, the ones who might possess a hidden resentment. That was the scheme. If they could not distort your friends, they would attempt to flip the bystanders. But what they did not realize was that even your quiet witnesses had nothing unattractive to state. And that is when panic started spreading through their little circle. Because how do you annihilate someone whose consistency even strangers can confirm? Envision that moment the investigator contacts ACO worker who never really conversed much, maybe even avoided small talk. Someone they were certain would state, yes, I never liked them. But instead, that identical person states, they were always professional, never disrespectful, just concentrated on their work. Envision the silence that followed on the other side of that telephone call. The ones who initiated this mess expected soil and obtained documentation of discipline. Your character leaves impressions even in rooms you have never entered. You did not have to campaign for respect. You earned it quietly. Every minor act of maturity, every time you maintained your peace instead of retaliating, constructed a reputation that even your distant observers could not deny. That is why they are so furious now, because even individuals who did not like you will not lie about you. That is a level of integrity you cannot fake, and they will never attain. Perhaps you are wondering, but what about the ones who did misunderstand me? Let us be truthful. Some individuals never appreciated your calm because it mirrored their chaos, but dislike is not the identical as dishonor. They might not resonate with you, but deep down, they know you have never crossed the boundary. That is the distinction between having enemies and having haters. Enemies will combat you. Haters will envy your peace, but both will eventually have to confess you never provided them a reason. Envision an ex-friend being questioned, someone who is long gone, who might even possess a bit of lingering resentment. The investigator inquires, what was your experience with them? And all they can state is, we do not converse anymore. But they were always respectful. That one sentence carries more weight than 1,000 rumors, because truth does not require to scream. It just sits there undeniable. You cannot distort the words of individuals who have only ever witnessed your grace. That is what destroyed them. Their entire smear scheme relied on assumption, not evidence. They thought anyone would finally confirm their story. But all they obtained was neutrality that leaned in your favor. The kind of quiet honesty that states, I do not know them well, but I have never witnessed them act fake. And that single truth sliced through every layer of fiction they constructed. That is what makes your story so powerful. You did not require everyone to adore you. You merely required to live correctly. And you did. You carried yourself in such a manner that even the indifferent could not deny your steadiness. That is how powerful authentic energy is. It composes its own testimony. It does not require hype. It does not require applause. It just stands there like a mirror that reflects everyone's intentions back at them. When even the silent ones speak truth, the liars start to choke on their own echoes. That is where your enemies are now, choking on disappointment. They were counting on whispers and instead obtained walls of integrity. They thought quiet individuals would confirm chaos, but they confirmed composure. They thought absence meant guilt, but it meant peace. You were not pretending to be flawless. You were simply being genuine. You have committed errors like everyone else, but you never hid behind lies or games. You owned your path, remained respectful, remained in your lane. That is what makes your name so difficult to stain, because you have been living your truth too consistently for too long. You are not spotless. You are transparent, and that is more frightening to them than perfection. Now they are sitting there frustrated, replaying conversations, realizing they have exhausted their ammunition. The quiet witnesses they were counting on became living evidence of your character. Even those who do not associate with you had to confess you are solid, and that is what crushed them. So recall this, chosen one. Silence does not mean weakness. Sometimes it is just the sound of your truth standing undefeated. They attempted to drag you through mud, but all they accomplished was washing your name clean. When even the quiet ones speak favorably of you, it is not luck. It is proof that your life leaves an honest trail wherever you travel. Number 4, the report did not break them. The reflection did. You cannot despise the truth without despising the part of yourself it reveals. They were so certain this so-called investigation would finally ruin you. They envisioned your image cracking under pressure, your reputation collapsing in public. But instead of uncovering your flaws, the light they attempted to utilize against you became a mirror that displayed theirs. The report did not merely return clean, it returned excessively clean. Every fact, every statement, every confirmation of your integrity struck them harder than any rumor ever could. Because the truth was not merely protecting you, it was humiliating them. They anticipated to locate skeletons in your closet, but the only bones rattling were their own insecurities. They wanted to reveal your mess, but ended up revealing their obsession. That is what stung the most. This was not about justice or curiosity. It was about control. They thought, if I can prove they are not perfect, perhaps I can cease feeling small next to them. But perfection was never a goal. Peace was, and while they were occupied dissecting your life, they neglected to examine the chaos in their own. When truth enters the room, lies start perspiring. That is what occurred here. The more individuals spoke well of you, the more the walls closed in on them. The more they heard how consistent, respectful, and reliable you have been, the more the contrast burned. It is one thing to lose the argument. It is another to lose it to your own reflection. Because that is what you have become for them, a mirror they cannot stand to gaze into. Envision this. They are sitting there awaiting unfavorable news, awaiting for the investigator to state, you are correct. They are not who they pretend to be. Instead, the investigator states, honestly, everyone I conversed with respects them. There is nothing but favorable feedback. You can envision the silence, the stiff smile, the fake nod. That is the sound of someone realizing they have been combating a phantom that only existed in their own imagination. The cleaner your name becomes, the dirtier their envy feels. Every time the report praised you, it pierced their ego like a blade, because deep down they knew what individuals admired in you were the very things they lack. Your discipline, your emotional control, your quiet confidence, all reminders of the potential they abandoned. You did not expose them with words. Your life accomplished it. They were not angry about losing. They were angry about what they lost. The illusion that they were superior. The story they told themselves about you was supposed to make them feel powerful. It was supposed to make sense of their jealousy, but the investigation stripped that away. It did not merely state, you are innocent. It screamed, they lied. And that is unbearable for individuals who depend on lies to feel alive. Perhaps you have asked yourself, why are they still angry if the truth already emerged? Because the truth did not merely end the rumor, it ended their comfort. Before they could tell themselves, everyone will observe who they genuinely are. Now they must confront the fact that everyone already observes and it is you who stands in the light. That kind of exposure is brutal for fragile egos. You did not embarrass them publicly, but the truth accomplished it privately. And that is worse. Integrity is the loudest revenge. You do not have to shout when your life speaks for itself. That is what is occurring now. Every clean word about you is a silent slap to their pride. They are not haunted by your success. They are haunted by the reflection of who they could have been if they had selected growth over gossip. You are a mirror they cannot escape, and every time they witness you win with grace, it taunts them with what they lack. The truth is, this was never about your actions. It was about their discomfort with your peace. You managed situations they would have exploded. You remained respectful in moments they would have erupted. You displayed maturity where they displayed malice. So when the report confirmed what everyone already knew, that you were genuine, consistent, and grounded, it did not merely clear you, it condemned them. Envision them sitting in front of that metaphorical mirror. Now every reflection is a reminder. They attempted to reveal a liar, but discovered an example. They attempted to humiliate you, but humiliated themselves instead. Because when you are rooted in truth, every assault becomes self-inflicted for the attacker. The light they summoned to burn you just illuminated their own shadows. You cannot enter someone who was planted on truth. Excavating only reveals your own soil. That is what the cosmos just demonstrated to them. They wanted to investigate you. The cosmos investigated them, and the outcome, you walked away untouchable while they walked away uncovered. Their rage is not about the report. It is about what it revealed inside themselves. So permit them to remain angry, chosen one. Their fury is not your burden. It is their reflection screaming back at them. You did not ruin their peace. They ruined it by comparing their emptiness to your authenticity. The truth did not break you. It broke their illusion. And from now on, every time they hear your name, it will echo like a mirror shattering in their own mind because they finally observe what they really are. Number 5. They attempted to compose your story, but the truth rewrote theirs. When lies lose their rhythm, truth starts performing louder and no one dances to fiction anymore. They thought they were the storytellers. They thought they could control the script of your life, distort the plot, and decide how others perceived you. That was their weapon. Not fists, not facts, but narrative control. They whispered in corners, disseminated half-truths in private messages, and transformed your peace into something suspicious. They misread your silence as guilt, your distance as arrogance, and your calm as manipulation. They wanted the world to perceive you through their bitterness. But here is what they forgot. Narratives only function until someone checks the source. Manipulation collapses the moment evidence enters. That is exactly what occurred. When the investigators started inquiring around, reality became the wrecking ball. Suddenly, every co-worker, friend, and casual acquaintance told the identical truth. You were not who they stated you were. You were not fake. You were not messy. You were not concealing anything. You were simply you. And that is when their castle of gossip started crumbling like wet paper. Because no quantity of lies can survive a united testimony of truth. Envision their faces when they realized their audience had flipped. The individuals they once deceived began connecting dots. How your actions never matched the rumors. How your quiet confidence contradicted every insult. Wait, perhaps they were never the problem. That is the moment control slipped out of their hands. Because once truth starts to trend, lies become obsolete rapidly. They did not merely lose power, they lost their platform. They went from being the narrators of your downfall to being the subjects of their own exposure. Individuals started asking the questions they feared most. Why were they so obsessed with someone who has never referenced them? Why proceed so intensely to annihilate someone who simply minds their business? Those questions are poison to manipulators. Because once individuals start thinking for themselves, the illusion perishes. The loudest lie still bows to the quiet proof of consistency. Your actions became your defense. You did not argue, you did not react. You simply kept appearing, doing right, and permitting time to perform the communicating. And that is what killed their script. Time. The longer individuals observed, the more the truth became undeniable. Your peace outlasted their performance. Your calm dismantled their chaos. They constructed their story like a house of mirrors. Twisted reflections designed to make you appear distorted. But mirrors only function in darkness. The moment light enters, the illusion breaks. And that is what you accomplished. You brought light just by remaining genuine. You did not have to prove anything. You lived your proof. Every person who spoke about you from first-hand experience became another fracture in their false reality. Now they are scrambling, attempting to patch the narrative with excuses. But it is too late. Individuals have witnessed the truth. And once the curtain falls, no one can unsee the act. Their audience departed. Their credibility vanished, and their version of you no longer exists anywhere but in their own frustration. They did not merely lose control of your name, they lost ownership of their own mask. When the truth finally speaks, the liars start whispering. That is the stage they are in now. Panic mode. They cannot delete what has already been revealed. They cannot reframe what is already confirmed. The identical voices they utilized to disseminate rumors are now echoing your praise. That is karma in real time. They thought they were composing your ending, chosen one, but all they accomplished was draft your resurrection story. The cosmos flipped their script, edited out their lies, and published the truth in bold print. They did not merely lose control, they lost their narrative. And now the world is finally reading the genuine version of you. Number 6, you lived so genuinely, even strangers became your alibi. Music. When your truth is consistent, even individuals who barely know you start defending your name. You did not require to explain who you were. You did not have to share profound captions or beg for validation. You simply lived correctly day after day, quietly, consistently. You did not fake peace for attention. You were peace. You did not smile for cameras. You smiled because your spirit stayed unbothered. That is what separated you from the noise. While others were occupied performing goodness, you were being it. And when the investigator came, searching for cracks in your story, all they discovered was proof that your character was solid from every angle. Envision this. Individuals who barely knew your name still stating, yes, they are good people. Always calm, always respectful. No rehearsed loyalty, no forced support, just natural consistency. That is what terrified your enemies, because they constructed their hope on the assumption that your image would collapse under pressure. They anticipated mixed opinions, jealousy, contradictions. Instead, they obtained harmony, person after person repeating the identical message. They are a genuine. That is not coincidence. That is alignment. Energy does not lie. It leaves fingerprints wherever you travel. You did not require to charm anyone or manipulate perceptions. You were simply yourself, and that energy was sufficient. It is astounding how honesty journeys. It disseminates without words. Individuals recall the way you carried yourself, the way you did not engage in gossip, the way you treated everyone the same. That is why even strangers vouched for you. They did not have to know your story to sense your sincerity. And let us be genuine, your enemies despise that kind of quiet power. They can fake smiles, fake confidence, fake friendships, but they cannot fake authenticity. They cannot replicate that stillness that states, I am good with or without your approval. You are never pursuing clicks or attempting to be observed. You are simply appearing as you. That is what constructed your credibility. And when truth has witnesses that owe you nothing, lies cannot compete. You cannot assassinate a character that has been verified by reality itself. The investigator did not merely locate a favorable reputation. He discovered consistency across every level of your life, from co-workers to casual acquaintances, from individuals you assisted to those who barely crossed your path. It all matched. No contradictions, no chaos, just a steady, grounded frequency that spoke louder than any defense you could have made. That is when your enemies started to panic, because they realized your reputation was not constructed on popularity. It was constructed on proof, and proof does not break. They attempted to distort your silence into mystery. But silence was your strength. You did not leave loose ends for anyone to grab onto. Every corner of your life was clean, not perfect, but genuine. When you live in truth, your life becomes your testimony. You were never performing purity. You were simply living in peace. That is why even individuals who did not like you still could not lie about you. They might not resonate with your energy, but they respect it. And that is power. Not the loud, showy kind, but the quiet kind that cannot be questioned. So when the report returned glowing, your enemies were not shocked by the result. They were crushed by the realization. They finally comprehended that your name did not survive because of luck. It survived because it was earned. You have been living so authentically that even strangers can vouch for you. That is the kind of truth no investigation can touch. Number 7, they laughed at your solitude. Now they are choking on its silence. The identical silence they ridiculed became the silence that saved you. They used to smirk when you kept to yourself. They stated you were too quiet, too proud, too distant. They mistook your peace for weakness and your privacy for arrogance. They did not comprehend that solitude was never your prison. It was your protection. While they were occupied trading secrets and performing friendship for attention, you were constructing something solid, a life free from unnecessary noise. You did not isolate yourself because you were afraid of individuals. You simply refused to mix with anything that did not match your energy. And now, when the spotlight has turned harsh, that solitude they mocked has become your greatest weapon. They possessed circles of gossip. You possessed circles of peace while they were laughing together in group chats filled with shade. You were minding your business, planting seeds of integrity. While they were bonding over other people's errors, you were learning from your own in silence. They thought their alliances made them strong. But alliances constructed on lies are made of paper. One question from the investigator, and the entire thing burned down. Your solitude, though, it stood like stone. Envision this. The investigator starts inquiring around, excavating for your name in their mess. Suddenly they realize your hands are clean. You were never in those rooms, never part of those whisper networks, never tied to the fake drama they created. Your distance became your shield. The walls they called cold were actually gates of wisdom. Every step you took away from their noise now echoes like a smart move that saved your reputation. They mistook your silence for emptiness, but silence is where the wise prepare. You were not lonely. You were strategic. You witnessed what others could not. That fake company cost more than honest solitude. You remained out of the spotlight because you comprehended how rapidly light can expose not just others, but the ones standing too close. That foresight kept you untouchable when the rumors started flying. They do not laugh now. They cannot, because the identical distance they ridiculed now makes them appear reckless. They were loud, visible, and messy. You were calm, quiet, and calculated. And when the questioning started, who stated this? Who was involved? Your name never arose. Not once. That is not luck. That is discipline. Perhaps you have wondered, was it worth it staying away from everyone? Look around. You are standing tall, while their alliances collapse under the weight of their own deceit. The very solitude they mocked has proven to be divine strategy. Protection disguised as distance. They called you antisocial. Now they call you smart. They used to whisper that you thought you were superior. Now they whisper that you were correct. Peace does not require a crowd. It requires clarity. And you possessed it all along. While they mistook noise for power, you mastered silence. And now the cosmos has transformed that silence into armor so strong, even the sharpest lies bounce off. They laughed once, but now every echo of that laughter reminds them. They should have never underestimated the one who knew how to walk alone. Number 8. The favorable gossip became your shield in the war they initiated. When your truth walks ahead of you, least can only follow and trip over their own feet. You did not even realize it, chosen one. You were constructing your own protection long before the battle started. Every minor act of integrity, every quiet moment where you selected peace over pettiness, was stacking invisible armor around you. While your enemies were plotting their next smear, the cosmos was already gathering witnesses on your behalf. Individuals were speaking well of you in rooms you did not even know existed. That was not luck, that was legacy. Because when you live honestly, your name becomes your defense. Envision this. While they were rehearsing lies, someone else was casually telling the truth about you. A coworker stated they have always been respectful. A neighbor mentioned they keep to themselves, never in drama. A friend stated they are solid, always calm, even under pressure. One after another, those simple truths became your bulletproof vest. By the time your enemies took aim, the gossip they started bounced right off because the cosmos had already armed you with reputation constructed from genuine behavior. Favorable gossip is the reward of clean living. It disseminates quietly but defends loudly. That is what occurred here. The lies never stood a chance because your track record was too consistent to contradict. Even individuals who barely knew you possessed the identical story. Stable, respectful, genuine, and that is what drove your enemies insane. They anticipated chaos, but they discovered calm. They desired evidence of weakness, but they encountered proof of strength. They attempted to assassinate your character, not realizing your character was already protected by witnesses who owed you nothing but spoke the truth. Regardless, this was not merely social defense. It was spiritual warfare. They were not attacking your image. They were attacking your identity. They wanted to strip you of credibility, peace, and self-trust. But they did not comprehend authenticity as armor. Every time you refused to argue, every time you permitted silence to perform the communicating, every time you displayed grace when anger was easier, you were reinforcing that armor. You did not merely survive the war. You neutralized it before it began. You were never unprotected. You were just underestimated. They mistook your calm for vulnerability. But calmness is the language of the powerful. You did not need to combat dirty because your integrity combated for you. When the judgment arrived, the verdict was already composed, untouchable. Your name, your actions, your consistency, those were your spiritual weapons. And ultimately, their lies did not merely miss the target. They ricocheted and revealed who the genuine enemy was. They wanted to destroy your name, chosen one. Instead, they made it echo with honor. Number 14. You became the plot twist that rewrote their entire story. They wanted to narrate your downfall, but your truth hijacked the script. They thought they possessed your life figured out. In their story, you were the villain, the one who was too quiet, too confident, too mysterious. They painted your peace as arrogance, your confidence as manipulation, your difference as danger. They thought that if they repeated the identical lie enough times, it would become fact. But the cosmos does not reward repetition. It rewards truth. And when the truth finally entered the room, it flipped the entire narrative upside down. They thought they were composing your ending, but what they did not realize is that they were only setting the stage for your reveal. Every whisper, every rumor, every shade-filled conversation was unknowingly building suspense for your comeback. When the investigator came searching for soil, he did not discover darkness. He discovered discipline. He did not discover secrets. He discovered structure, and that is when the story cracked wide open. The individuals who were supposed to back up their lies could not. The facts did not match the fiction. You did not merely survive Thieslander campaign. You exposed it. They constructed a rumor. The truth constructed a revolution. The twist was not loud. It was poetic. The identical individuals who once nodded along to the lies began questioning everything. Wait, if they were so terrible, why does everyone describe them the identical way? Calm, kind, focused. That is when panic struck your enemies. Their words had lost gravity. Their storylines collapsed under the weight of proof. And suddenly you were not the villain. You were the balanced, the steady one, the calm in the middle of chaos. Envision the silence in their circle when the report came out clean. All the tension they had constructed, all the anticipation for your supposed exposure vanished. Because the truth did not merely emerge, it demonstrated itself. And here is what shook them to their core. The investigator was not merely performing a job. That was timing. Divine timing disguised as coincidence. The cosmos stepped in right when their lie was about to take root and declared enough. You did not beg for justice. You did not pursue closure. You stood motionless and truth performed the pursuing for you. They attempted to reduce you to a rumor, but truth promoted you to revelation. That is what occurs when your character is stronger than their story. You became the plot twist no one anticipated. The one who proved that silence is not surrender, it is strategy. You did not combat back with noise. You combated back with evidence. You did not defend yourself with words. Your life accomplished it for you. Every moment you remained calm. Every time you refused to retaliate was another sentence composed in your favor. They wanted to destroy your name, but they ended up destroying their credibility. They wanted the crowd to turn against you, but the crowd turned on them. They wanted to compose your ending, but instead they edited themselves out of the book entirely. And now the world is reading your story the way it was always meant to be told. Not as a tragedy, but as a testimony. The truth did not merely clear you, it crowned you. You did not merely survive the investigation, you ascended through it. They thought they were creating your downfall, but what they genuinely accomplished was hand you your spotlight. Because when the light struck, only one story stood tall, the genuine one, and it possessed your name all over it. And now, chosen one, you perceive it clearly. Every rumor, every setup, every whisper was never your ending. It was your awakening. They attempted to investigate your life, but the only thing they exposed was their own envy. You did not merely survive. You rose above every lie with proof, peace, and power. The truth spoke for you louder than any defense ever could. Your story is not over. It is just becoming louder. So if this communication resonated, ensure to like, subscribe, share this video, and leave 77 in the comments to claim your victory. And maintain this truth alive.